Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and we've got a potpourri edition of vintage Kenner Star Wars items that sold on eBay. Not just loose graded, not just mint on card, although I do have both of those categories covered. But just a decent assortment of different items that I thought were worth talking about, showing you recent sales for those of you out there looking. And I want to say thanks to my Patreon supporters as well as my YouTube channel members. Really appreciate the channel support from all of you guys. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is interesting. So literally within about an hour of each other, there were two different vintage action display stands that sold with the mailer box. All right, we just talked about in a recent video that special offer version that sold, I think, for, don't quote me, $2,800, something crazy. It was a big number. I remember that part. But these are just the standard ones, you know, the original ones that were mailed off to buyers that, you know, saved up for however they did it, whether it was a certificate or proof of purchase or what. But, you know, this one is a pretty nice looking example that was in pretty good shape. Again, it included the mailer box, $482 in an auction. And then literally, like an hour later, another one sold that also included the mailer box. It did have the paperwork inside, all that kind of stuff. And that one sold for $625. And you can see the sticker there has come off on that one. So pretty interesting to see such a big price disparity, $482 versus $625 for the action display stand. Both of them were in very good shape, though. I mean, don't get me wrong; they were both very clean examples, but just shows you the patience to wait for an auction if you can. If it's not like a super rare item that never comes up, you're going to get a much better deal. Here was that sand crawler I had in a what to buy video. It was 100% complete, and it sold up in Canada for 1,059 Canadian dollars, which is 776 US dollars. Very clean battery compartment. So this one was in very nice shape overall. You can see how clean that one was. Pretty good deal too. I mean, I routinely see these sell for $800-900, sometimes more. If with the box, certainly over $1,000. So this one looked pretty clean. The antenna on the remote was in great shape. Everything about it was super clean. So to get that one for $776, I thought that was a very fair deal for what that was. And the very tough to find IG-88 with the box. This is obviously not mint and seal box, but the IG-88 himself looked to be super clean. No idea how the melt marks look on those grenades. If you follow the channel closely, we've talked about that, how those grenade plastic, the plastic that's used to make the grenade is different than the plastic for the bandolier. And so over time, it just kind of melts. It melts the grenades. I don't know why that is. It's some kind of chemical reaction. Somebody call Mr. Wizard from the 1980s. Maybe he can explain it in more detail. I'm not smart enough to do that. Maybe my wife can. She's a doctor. She's a doctorate. She's a PhD in molecular genetics. I bet she could explain it very well. But this was a nice example. Pretty good box, too. The box was in pretty good shape. So $952 I thought was a good deal, given that just IG-88 loose complete can go for, what, $600 to $800? And in this case, you're getting a loose complete plus a very clean looking box. That you could put that in a sliding acrylic case, and that would present very, very nicely. So $952 on that one in an auction. And then several different baggy sets sold that I wanted to show you. Or at least two of them. This was a minifigures 9-pack. So this is an ESB Sears catalog 9-pack. And you can see all the ESB characters still in the baggies as well. Plus the box for $800, which I thought was a great deal. I mean, if you add up the value of those baggies right there individually, without the box at all, you're probably at $800 or more. I mean, significantly more, I would argue, than you know, if you bought all those individually. It'd be really tough to get those for $800, especially IG-88. IG-88 is a very difficult to find baggie, but even Leia Bespin, the Bespin Security Guard is a Category 4 baggie. That's a very, very rare baggie. Even, you know, Han Hoth, that's one I never did get my hands on. So, and you're getting the box. You're getting the Sears box with the SKU number and then what's listed inside. So this is a very nice item, in my opinion, and could be loose graded, I guess, if you got the right. I assume that some of these came with catalogs. I don't know if that one did or not. And this one did have some writing on the back there. Missing 3 is what it says. Okay, so that makes sense. So you got 7 of the baggies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, you're missing. It's not missing. It's a 9-pack, and it says missing 3 on the box, but there's 7 of them here. So they might have replaced one of them. Who knows? But you could probably figure out who's missing there. It looks like, let's see here. Bespin Luke is one of them. And, it says 9-pack. What's the other ones? I was trying to find what the other one was that was missing, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so one of these. Oh, the Imperial Stormtrooper. That was the one that's missing. So the Stormtrooper and the Luke Bespin are missing from this, but it's got the others. They're all still sealed. I would think that getting the Luke Bespin, I would think would be pretty easy to do. Maybe not if it's a specific. Obviously, it's a specific baggie type that made in Hong Kong. Stormtrooper can be kind of tough. I don't know if it's a Hoth Stormtrooper or just a regular Stormtrooper, but you could probably get your hands on both of those baggies, and then you'd have a complete item. But anyway, I thought $800, just given the value of the baggies alone, very fair price. And then here was the other one. This is a Sears 2-pack with Walrus Man and Hammerhead, which is more common, but still very desirable, and includes the box, although it does have some tears on the box. But pretty decent deal there at $449. That's really the value of the 2 baggies by themselves, in my opinion, but maybe slightly above that for the box. So very good deal on that as well. This was another baggie that is very tough to find. It's hard to find Yoda baggies, period, that are legit. It's one of the most commonly faked baggies for whatever reason. And this one was graded by CAS. This was a brown snake Yoda, and I don't know if that's like, I don't know if it's like a gray head or not. It looks like it looks kind of brighter there. But that is a brown snake Yoda baggie, which, I've paid that price for one of these, pretty close to that price for one of these ungraded before. It's just a very tough baggie to find. The orange snake Yoda baggie is also very tough to find. So I would argue more difficult to find than the brown snake Yoda baggie. But anyway, that one did sell. And it didn't sell for $650 because my friend Byron bought that one. He said he got a deal on that one, made an offer or something like that. But it shows sold at $650, but it was less than that. This was a cool custom. This is a CAS 75 for the bounty hunter. So all the bounty hunters inside one gigantic acrylic case, and it was graded CAS 75. And the reason it got a 75 is because if you have one figure that's a 70, the rest of the figures could all be 90s. But if one figure is a 75, then CAS gives it a 75, which I think is kind of dumb. I think that there's, but you also don't want to have, 7 CAS labels for having each one of them individually labeled, which I have seen for UKG graded examples, but this presents really cool. It's just a shame that it was a 75, and I'd love to figure out which one it is that got the 75. You can see a little bit of rub on Zuckuss there. Hard to tell with Boba Fett there. It could be reflections. So I don't know. One of those figures was clearly not an 85 grade figure, but it could be Dengar. Dengar looks like he's got some wear on the armor there, but it could be lighting there. See, it looks better there. So who knows which one? But that's the downside, right? You got to have perfect figures. You're rolling the dice that you're not going to get a high grade. And even with the 75 grade, it doesn't really matter, really. It's really just a display piece. But it's still sold for a huge number at $1051, which that's well above what these figures are worth individually. But you're paying for the custom case, which I'm sure was very, very expensive. But that's a really nice presentation. It's just a shame it wasn't a higher grade. But I don't know if it really matters, to be honest with you. It looks so cool. It looks so cool. I like how they have a little breather hole for Dengar's weapon there, so it doesn't either fog up or whatever. But I just love this setup. This is such a cool setup. They just feel like they thought of everything with that setup. It's very, very nice. So anyway, 1051 on that one. Die-cast TIE Bomber, obviously in kind of rough shape, a lot of yellowing. $689.99 was the sales price there. I don't think it's worth that. I think at an auction that goes for like $400. That was kind of rough shape. It had a lot of yellowing with the plastic portion. And then Jeff's Collectible Empire again had some more figures, and I can't figure out why the prices are what they are, but the prices seem well above fair market value for a lot of these auctions. But part of it's the trust, knowing you're going to get your items. You're getting it from Jeff Jacobs' eBay store, and I think part of it too is that a lot of these are more common figures that don't show up in an 85 grade because people just don't grade them. That's not true for Luke X-Wing, obviously. That one sold at $494 though, which is a crazy high number in my opinion. But it did sell at $494. Leia, another one you do see commonly in an 85, but it's always expensive. $669 on that one. That one was a Taiwan, brown hair and belt. But that one did sell $669. I would have said $600. The Han Solos were high grade, so that's the other reason why some of these numbers were higher. 85 plus, always tough to get an 85 plus with some of these first 12 figures. 564, that one was the no COO. This was the small head molded legs Han, Hong Kong. That one sold for 582, and again, that one was an 85 plus. So 85 pluses, I understand. What I don't understand is the Luke X-Wing, why that one went for almost $500. That seems really, really high to me. The baggie for Han Solo was an 80 plus. That sold for $187.60. Very fair, very much in. I would actually argue that's even low. That was a good deal there. The Darth Vader was an AF 890. Not a huge shock that it went for $685. I mean, any 90 Darth Vader is going to be very high demand. We've seen higher numbers than $685 recently. The Hammerhead even went high. I mean, look at that. An AFA 85 Hammerhead is like $130 very routinely. AFA 90 though sold for $461. $461. So what a beautiful figure though. The lighting on these photos is really good too, which I think does help. It does help. Like Brown's 8888 is another seller on eBay that always has high grade items, and his routinely go for above fair market value in my opinion. And he always has super crisp photos. So I think that does play into it. But I'm not dogging anybody for paying these prices. I'm just saying that they seem high. The AF 890 Imperial Commander sold for $310. Kind of a tough one to get in a 90. I mean, we've seen a number of them lately, but that's not super common. But, the Hoth Rebel Commander is, you hardly ever see AFA 85s come up for this figure because no one cares. No one bothers to grade it unless it's like a Lily Letty or something like that. So 209 on that one. This is another one where I don't know why this one sold so high. $356 for an AFA 85 21B medical droid. I mean, I had one of these and I sold it for like $150. So it's pretty wild to see some of those prices. This was a different seller, but this was an AFA 85 plus for EV99. And, 6 months ago it was $700. Now we're looking at $800. This one sold admittedly in a buy it now for $800, which seems a little high to me. I think in an auction it probably goes $700. That's my guess though. Some mint on cards that sold. Rad Era Rewind, trusted seller, friend of the channel. AFA 80 for the 48 back C Cloud Car palette. Punched example clear blister for $285. That was a steal, I thought, for what that was. I mean, that was a very, very nice example for $285. And one more loose graded. This was the R2-D2 droids, and it had the coin inside, and this is graded by CAS. Figure 80, coin 90. And so we got the overall 80 for the figure. And the 80 was mainly because of the sticker. You can see the sticker has some browning to it. But very nice. And that one did sell for $1,200. $1,200 for that one. Big number there. And I hesitated showing these because I don't know if they're legit or not. Because they are showed as sold. But 32 back B AFA 85 shows sold at $3,500. And the same seller, that's where I started to question, had a 12 back A Luke Skywalker, admittedly an AFA 85. All right. AFA 85, 12A Luke Skywalker, unpunched, no price sticker, but it's saying it's sold at $14,000. And then, so what I did was I clicked sellers, other items, and then I clicked on sold. And it seems like they're all selling, right? An AFA 85 A-Wing palette for $900 sold. And then you had an AFA U90 Luke Battle Poncho for $1,000. That's a little more believable. AFA 85 Lumat for $650. That doesn't seem believable to me. R2D2 with the pop-up lightsaber U85 for $2,000. I mean, that seems high, but I could see actually somebody paying that. And then an 85 plus Warwick sold for $750. So, I mean, some of those numbers just it just seems bizarre that this one particular seller would be able to get above market every time. So take it for what you will. I'm not accusing the seller of anything, by the way, just to be clear. But it does seem very bizarre that they were able to get such massive prices for these items that I would argue is well above fair market value. But what do I know? You know, I mean, an AFA 90 32B Yoda, what did that sell for at Hakes a few months back? What was it, like $14,000, $16,000, something crazy? So, and is an AFA 85 worth $3,500? Maybe to somebody, so anyway, I just thought I'd point that out, that this seller seems to get really high grade items and really big prices for those items. But I mean, the least believable one to me is the A-Wing pilot. Old case style AFA 85 for $900. What? And the Lumat for $650. I don't know if I buy that one either, but you know, whatever. So next up, we got a 65 back A Darth Vader. And this one was an AFA 85 clear blister, 85, 85, 90 were the sub scores on that one. That one sold for $1,200 apparently in a buy it now. So again, with these buy it nows, I'm only going on the data. I have no idea if they're legit or not, but that's a big number, but it's not out of the realm given what I've seen some sell for. I mean, I think I even had this one in an AFA 80 or maybe a CAS 80 plus. I don't remember, but I sold mine for $400 or $500, somewhere in that ballpark. So 1,200 is not unheard of for an AFA 85. And clear blister Return of the Jedi Darth Vaders, they do command a big number. They do command that. Those two Toll Toys that I had in the What to Buy video a few weeks back, those did sell. We had the Admiral Akbar. This is on a New Zealand, Australian Toll Toys example. Always desirable. That one sold for 338 Australian dollars, which is 242 US. And then the 21B, which was the better of the two. Even that one went cheaper than I expected. I expected that one to go for a lot more. It sold for 509 US dollars. So I thought both of those were very good deals for Toll Toys. And then finally, we have the Droids ATL Interceptor. It looks like the tape was no longer sealed on one side. So this is unused contents for the ATL Interceptor. That one apparently did sell in a buy it now for $700. So anyway, just with some more data, Potpourri edition, kind of a wide range of items for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.